The Dallas Stars rise to the occasion and take down the Carolina Hurricanes by a final score of 4-2 in a thrilling hockey game at the AAC. Let's jump into this big win next on Locked On Stars.
Your Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan and play-by-play voice of the Chippewa Steel. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. How about that win for the Dallas Stars last night? One of the most complete games of the entire season. The Stars take down the Carolina Hurricanes by a final score of 4-2. So much to get into on today's episode, breaking down last night's game. So much good to talk about as well. Also, Evgenii Dadonov out 4 to 6 weeks. We have to get into that and what that means moving forward. Maybe we get our first look at Mavrik, Bourque, or Logan Stankoven. Who knows? Otter is cooking, by the way, and the Dallas Stars pick up a huge win in a battle of top 10 teams in the National Hockey League. What a fun hockey game to take in last night. So today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Well, I touched on it yesterday, and for all you everydayers out there, we talked about how similar these two teams want to play and how fun it is to watch them clash. They are just two really, really fun hockey teams to watch battle it out. And last night lived up to the bill. I mean, down to the very last second. And I love that the Stars just met the challenge, so to speak. They have not been very dominant against top 10 teams in the National Hockey League this season. I think now they're 7-7-2 or something like that against top 10 teams. But they rose up to the challenge in what could have been a tough game. Coming back after a long road trip, you got to play your first game back at home in what feels like forever. And they met the challenge. And that first 10 minutes was really, really important in the hockey game. I touched on it yesterday, how important that first 10 was going to be, and the Stars survived. They didn't have a phenomenal start by any stretch of the imagination, but that first period in general, the Stars did just such a great job of tracking back, having good defensive position, and really not giving Carolina a whole lot of second chances. When the Hurricanes wanted to use their speed on the outside of the rink, they tried to feed the width of the rink, tried to go to that weak side, and the Stars just took a lot of those passing lanes away. And even when Carolina was able to funnel something towards Otter, they were there to clean up the mess in front. And that is a really, really good sign moving forward. I thought it was a very nice, solid game defensively. There was a few shifts that were forgettable at points in the game. Did not love Lindell and Hakanpaa right off the hop, but Hakanpaa, I thought, was a physical presence, actually played a really, really great hockey game against a team that has a lot of speed and grit. And I thought the Stars handled the forecheck really good. And the best part about this whole thing is those are the type of teams you have to beat, and you have to close them out. You have to close out those type of teams, especially come springtime. And that gives me a lot of confidence moving forward, watching the Stars in the final 10 minutes of that hockey game just kind of shut things down. Otter had to be great, per usual. Otter made a mastodonic save. I mean, that was incredible to keep it a 1-goal lead at the time. And then they get the empty netter. They don't allow the 6-on-5 goal, which they've succumbed to a few times recently. And They cruised to the finish line, even though Carolina potted one late. That was goaltender interference by every stretch of the imagination. Stars take it 4-2. Huge, huge win and an exciting hockey game to take in as well. Roope Hintz starts off the scoring. We nailed the shooting star pick. He had a wonderful night. His team leading 23rd goal of the season. Pavelski and Robertson pick up the helpers on that one. Mason Marchment, the beat goes on for him quietly. Mason Marchment has a 7-game point streak. By the way, this is an unreal stat too I saw on the Valley broadcast last night. When Roope Hintz tallies a point, the Stars, I believe now are 28-2-1, I think it is. That may be a bit overselling it, but it's incredible when he just registers a point. And Roope scored a beauty. Robertson follows it up in the third period. Knew that was going in by the time he was wafting in to the offensive zone. Way too much space for one of the best goal scorers on the Stars. The numbers have not been there this season, but way too much space for Jason Robertson. Hakanpaa picks up a couple of assists in the game. They did so well at getting in shooting lanes. 30 blocked shots last night. They sacrificed. They got in front of shooting lanes. They took a lot of options away from Carolina in general. It's not always a statistic you love because maybe you're having to defend too much, but it wasn't like they gave up these massive amounts of high-grade chances to the Hurricanes. I thought they did an excellent job keeping them to the outside for the majority of the game. The second goal they scored was really just a fluke, and the first goal just a complete lapse at the beginning of the second period. It was funny because I tweeted after the first 20, man, the Stars played really solid. They had great defensive positioning. And then the stall goal early was like, okay, well, that went out the window in the first 13 seconds of the period. But a big win. And the key to last night's victory, closing out that game against a very, very good squad that's played very well on the road. I think they were 7-0-1 in their last 8. They only had to kill off one power play against the road's best power play. Looked actually pretty decent on the PK, and they closed out the victory. Love to see that on home ice. American Airlines Center was bumping, and the Stars got the job done. They got the job done in multiple ways. As I mentioned, just felt like a complete team win. And what I really enjoyed about the game overall, the Stars just made simple plays. Really, really deliberate, really direct. Not afraid to chip and chase a bit. Get the forecheck going. Force Carolina to make plays up the ice. They caused some turnovers that way, and they got some good chances off of that. Kochekov is really good for the Hurricanes too. But I just love the way that the Stars went about their approach. Kind of workman-like. It wasn't a bunch of fanciness and pretty plays throughout, and it wasn't going to be against a Hurricanes team. And they kind of just bowed up to the task and really, really enjoyed taking in that hockey game. Otter ends up with the highest game score via hockey stat cards at 1.42. Niels Lundqvist was actually second best at 1.24. Played a really, really good game. Picks up an assist on the Marchment goal. He's making huge strides, by the way. Making huge strides right now. Defensively, his game offensively is continuing to grow. We already knew he had that ability in him. He's taking big leaps this last month in terms of his defending, and he's having to defend with Suter, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job. He just looks more and more comfortable every night. You don't notice him all the time, and I mean that in a good way. You don't notice him because he's not a sore eye, so to speak. Like that was a really bad play. You're not seeing that from him as much. And that is just such a huge key for the Stars as well moving forward. Just a really solid game, I thought, overall. Miro plays just under 24 minutes, which of course led the Stars in that category. And the defense was nothing to jump up and down about, but they just played steady, and it's not like anyone really just stood out and had some wildly phenomenal game. Harley and Miro, of course, have their looks and have their chances, but I thought Dallas did a really, really good job getting to their game in that first 10 minutes. Roope scores. The Stars could have played with the lead. They played with the lead the whole night. That was so big. They were never down. They never gave up that go-ahead goal, and they closed it out. That was just such a great sign, and kind of my theme for the night, and it's been kind of the theme for the season. Stars haven't done that a whole lot. They've kind of tipsy-toed their way to some victories, and it's been an adventure a lot, and last night wasn't as much as an adventure. They got the job done, and that was just a really, really fun hockey game to watch. Carolina's so good. It's one of those contests, too, where it could have gone either way, and you would have been like, tip your cap. Stars played good. Carolina played good. You don't feel too bad. I feel like if you're a Hurricanes fan, you feel really good as a Stars fan because you beat a really quality team that's been on a heater really since Christmas. And they take down the Hurricanes. Just awesome hockey game. So a very, 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 very fun watch. So big time win. Stars take down the Hurricanes by a final score of 4-2. But some more intriguing news, sort of, not really, but kind of is. Evgenii Dadonov is out for a while. And maybe the Stars will have to make a call down to Texas very, very soon. Let's talk about that next in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is obsessed with finding you ways to help save money on tickets. Game Time has the best deals on tickets right up to the start of the event. And even after an hour it starts, it's the place to find last-minute seats, find exclusive flash deals, and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball. Baseball is right around the corner, believe it or not. Concerts, comedy, theater, you name it, Game Time has it. With zone deals, you pick the section and Game Time picks the seats. You can get big time savings, and Game Time guarantee means you'll also get the best price. If you find tickets in the section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the tickets. You can see the view before you buy it, so you don't have to worry about an obstruction, a railing, a wall. We've all been there when you show up to a new arena, a new building, and you're like, I would have not bought these tickets if I had known this was going to happen. And that's why Game Time is the place to go. They take all the guesswork out of buying tickets. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON. That's locked on for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets. Lowest price. Guaranteed. So the Stars take down the Carolina Hurricanes by a final score of 4-2 last night. They will also be taking on the Nashville Predators tomorrow on the road. But some interesting news came out yesterday morning via head coach Pete DeBoer. Evgenii Dadonov will be out for a while. And then Mike Heika, of course, the senior staff writer for the Dallas Stars, actually spoke to Jim Neal during the game last night and broke this news. Dadonov will be out for 4 to 6 weeks, which, of course, leads to the question, are the Dallas Stars going to have to make a call-up soon? And who could that be? Stankoven and Mavrik Bourque. And it looks like for the rest of this week, the Stars will just rock with Ty Dellandrea. And Dellandrea looked so good last night. Oh, he could not buy one. He could not buy one. Oh, he had so many good looks. He had a couple of breakaways in the game. He was point blank a few times. Kochetkov made a couple of just phenomenal stops on Dellandrea. But it's good to see him playing well. I've been a fan of Dellandrea. He thrived last year, I thought, in a role with Johnston and Ben. Now he's getting the opportunity to play with him. He'll have an opportunity to play consistently now on an everyday basis, which I'm really, really thrilled for him because I think he should be playing a bit more consistently as it is, just because it's really hard to be as productive as you would like when you're not playing every day. How can you expect him to get into a rhythm and find him or to expect him to get to his game, so to speak? And he's been pretty decent. I feel like as an offensive player for the Stars in his limited opportunities. So it's a great opportunity for Dellandrea to kind of step up into this role. He kind of fits in nicely. He played with Ben and Johnston last season, so there's some familiarity there. And he played really good last night. That's a great start for him to buy him some time. And I'm seeing some takes now kind of roll on to Bourque and Stankoven may not be the first options depending on where the Stars are. So they'll probably be okay with just having Dellandrea ride this out for the next week, but they are going on a road trip here at the end of the week. And there is some buzz around that they are expected to make a call-up. I can see there is some notions now that if the offense is fine, which I think the Stars offense is going to be fine, it's not like Dadonov was providing a huge piece of the offensive firepower the Stars are trotting out there on an everyday basis. So if the offense is fine, I've heard they may be leaning towards somebody like Karlstrom or Matej Blumel, who play a bit not as flashy as a game or not going to provide as much offense, but just a solid player that they can rely on that's already played in the National Hockey League and have already been called up at points during their career. And I'm seeing if the offense is sputtering, maybe they do bring up Logan Stankoven or Mavrik Bourque. Of course, I'm all on board. Bring one of the kids up. Bring up Bourque or Stankoven. I don't care. I don't care what the offense is doing. You have an opportunity to maybe do it, so do it. Just let them get a taste. And I know they want to be cautious and they want to be patient with them. And maybe they don't want to get everybody's hopes up, but it's hard not to with the way they're lining it up down in the American Hockey League this season. I'm here for it. Bring up Stankoven for the road trip. Or bring up Bourque. It doesn't even have to be Stankoven, but Bourque's earned his opportunity. It's his second season. He's having a heck of a year. He's earned his reward to maybe get a shot. At least a shot. At least go on the trip. You don't have to play him, but maybe he's earned his opportunity. Stankoven, I could see. He's a rookie. You of course don't know what you're going to get out of him at the next level, so to speak. I think you have a bit more trust maybe in Bourque because he's already played a year professionally. He's obviously a very, very good prospect, and you can trust him to play in different spots if need be. And if you plug him and play him with a Jamie Benn or even White Johnston for that matter, or you stick him on the fourth line with Smith and Foxa, two defensive or at least defensive-minded players. Smith, of course, has more offensive talent, but you can kind of work him into maybe a soft opening to the National Hockey League. It's not like you're expecting the guy to come light up the world, right? The Stars are in a very different place as a franchise right now. It's not like they need them, but I'm all on board for watching them play. I would love to bring him up. If Dadonov's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, you're looking for, really the kind of the rest of the season to some degree. And that's, of course, overshooting it. Maybe he comes back in the final 2 weeks and maybe he gets a few games in. But you never know how this goes. It was a fracture to the lower body, and initial timetables are not always correct. We saw that with Wedgwood last season. It's supposed to be less than a month, and it turned into like a month and a half. So you never know what's going to happen. But, I'm giddy about it. But I guess this leads to the question, how the Stars are going to be fine. As much as Dadonov played a really, really, really nice role for the Stars this season, I don't think it's going to hamper them too much. Of course, it's another guy you're without, and strength in numbers, so to speak. But I think this gives a great opportunity for Ty Dellandrea to just get in the lineup on an everyday basis and kind of earn some keep, so to speak, maybe earn some trust back from Pete DeBoer. And I think this only brings positives to the Dallas Stars moving forward, because you're going to have injuries in the playoffs. You're going to have things that don't go your way, and you're going to have to figure out and adapt. So this is a chance for the Stars to adapt a little bit and maybe see some new combinations, so to speak, and maybe see some new players from down in Texas. So awesome stuff. Not awesome about the Dadonov news, as Pete DeBoer broke last night, but the Stars will have to make way without Dadonov for a while, which of course leads to some very intriguing options for the Dallas Stars. Someone that you don't have to really worry about, at least recently, has been Jake Oettinger. Man, he has been cooking. Oh, Jake has been good. That's why you never jump off the Otter bandwagon, because he plays like this, and he's doing it now multiple times over the last week and a half. Let's talk about that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is also brought to you by FanDuel. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. The NBA is in full swing. They're ready to make their playoff push coming off the trade deadline. So go ahead, make some money while you're watching the NBA slate. The Dallas Mavericks picked up that huge trade, picked up PJ Washington. Kyrie is firing on all cylinders. We know what Luka Doncic can do. So go ahead, make some money. Betting the over on the Dallas Mavericks and that offense. So go ahead and just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and go ahead and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Be sure to check out Locked On Sports Today, the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and it's now available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV Channels app, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts on Locked On. Be sure to follow Locked On Stars, give it a review, like that notification bell, or I should say, hit that notification bell. Like the video, comment, like, all that good stuff. Also, Locked On Stars too on Twitter. Follow me on the Twitter, the X thing, at Joey the Jet 19 as well. The Stars are rolling right now, and yes, it is a ton of fun to watch this squad. Really, really solid game last night against Carolina, especially after the Stars weren't necessarily as sharp as you would have liked coming out of the All-Star break. They were really good last night, and they met the challenge. Who also met the challenge is Jake Oettinger. Woo! Talk about these 3 starts coming out of All-Star weekend. Of course, he was the All-Star representative for the Dallas Stars. 47 saves of 48 shots against Buffalo last week. Follows that up with 18 of 20 against Montreal. Had a stinker in that one too. And then he comes out against Carolina. He was not as busy, or I should say, did not have to face as high a quality of chances, I feel like, in the first 2 games. But he makes 32 saves on 34 shots from Carolina, made a couple of sensational stops. 3.42 expected goals average for Carolina in the hockey game. It was a quiet, really that's not level start from Jake Oettinger, because the Stars did break down a few times late in the game, and he came up with some huge stops. He is back. He's just found his rhythm. He's really calm. His rebound control has been really noticeable too, especially on especially on some of the man advantages and the PK, because the Stars have not been great in that department. But he's really helped out because the Stars penalty kill has not gotten as many clears as they would have liked. They've been kind of swimming for the majority of them. And you of course, need great goaltending if you want to stop that. And he's certainly been a part of the equation. He faced 8 high danger shots against, and that was at 5-on-5, 9 in the game. Yeah, expected goals against of 3.42. I would love to see what the expected goals against was for Kochetkov. It was only 1.57. So the Stars, I guess, didn't generate a ton of phenomenal looks. And Carolina really controlled the game for a lot of it. I'll give them that. The chances in the contest went in favor of the Hurricanes 34-20. So, yeah, Otter was good, but the Stars did diligent work in front of him. He did get some help. I mean, 30 block shots. That is willingness to a willingness to defend when you see a number like that. Jake Oettinger gets the first star of the game, and this Stars team can do some damage. This Stars team can do some damage when Otter's playing this way. And the Stars have not had this depth. They have not had this offensive firepower / layers to their game in a long time. And you match that up with a number one goalie playing like a number one goalie. Woo! It's a tough team to beat. They're going to be really hard out when it matters most. And that's a huge sign and a huge momentum swing for the Stars, because they were not getting Jake Oettinger at his fullest in the first 3 months of the season, besides the start in the first 10 when he was just insane. He was just kind of trotting along there. He looks really good. He looks really good. And I've seen plenty of opinions out there being thrown around the internet talking about he's not elite and he's not this. He was never this. Scoff. That's all I have to say to that. Jake Oettinger's damn good. Damn good. And the last 3 starts should tell you, especially the one against Buffalo. This is one of the elite netminders in the National Hockey League. You're going to have some bad spells in your career. You're going to have some bad spells. Sorry, I'm not taking my stock out on a netminder in a second full season. Boom. Way to go, Jake. Way to go, Otter. Absolutely killing it. Woo! Stars are killing it too, man. They've taken 3 out of their 4 coming out of the All-Star break. Nashville Predators on deck on the road. The games against Nashville have been really crazy and chaotic this season. Stars have been on the wrong end of the last few matchups, and they needed a miracle to beat them the first time. So that'll be that is certainly one to look forward to tomorrow in Nashville. But that'll do it for today. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Hope you're having a wonderful week. Pleasure to be with you, as always, on Locked On Stars. Thank you to all you everydayers out there rocking along with me. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and the Stars are humming, which is good news. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk Predators Stars. We'll talk some more Stars hockey, and hopefully it leads to another win. So have a great rest of your day, and we will see you tomorrow. So long, Stars fans.